Hello everyone. Welcome to my PHP tutorial class. In the last tutorial that we did on PHP, uh, we did a registration page where a user can register and submit, and while also we can authenticate the user. Then these are some of the users that we've registered. So in today's tutorial, we are going to log in. Then we are going to display the user, all the registered user. We are going to display all the registered user. Then probably we'll perform a little CRUD operation on it. CRUD means to create. That means you want to add a new user, while R means read to view the information. Then U is for update, when you update the information of the user, while the D is for delete. So I'm going to pick one of these names that we've used to register to log in. Or preferably if you just type any name that is not there and you submit, it will tell you invalid login details because this user has not been registered. So it has to be registered. But let's make use of this one. If we log in, it's going to take us to the home page. Now, once you log in, the this is the home page where we have the welcome heading. This is the logout button, and this table that you are seeing is a Java. I mean, it's a data table, the JavaScript uh, data table. So the in my code now, I'm going to open this home.php and explain some few things there. So this is my code, and so in my code now, um, I have, sorry, I mistakenly opened a file. All right, so this the thing I added there. I just want to show. Now I added this asset folder. So inside this assets folder, that's where you can see all this bootstrap. Is because of the data table. That's why I downloaded them into my own this thing, into my own locals directory. So you can download them online or you can just call them. Okay, but for today's tutorial, I am using them. So this is the data table styling. Then all other information, like all this footer that you can see there, that's just what we see there. So this is we have a div. This is a bootstrap class. We give it a panel of default, then panel heading. Let's just say, let me just go and get some of the things I've typed down because I'm not going to be doing a lot of typing, but I'll do a lot of explanation because we have a lot of grounds to cover. So I have a div. I have a div with the class of row, and inside it I'm giving it two column with the column of large and the column large 6. That means on large screen you should make use of 6. So to know more about this, just go to the HTML and CSS section of my tutorial on my channel. You will learn more about it. So please pardon me, I'll be doing some copying of the thing because we have a lot of things to cover in today's tutorial. All right, so then I have an h4 tag, is register user, and I gave it font awesome icon class of FAFA user. Then I want to I want to add a place where you can create a new user. So this is this create.php. We will create that file. Then this is the table. So for you to make use of the data table, just make sure you declare a div and you call it uh, table responsive. That means you give it the class of table responsive. Then the new data table, some of them are using, depending on the ones you are using. So this one is using ID of data table example. There is some project that I did. Some of them is just ordinary data table like this. Then I need to call the uh, the function using a jQuery. This code that you are saying is a jQuery for code, but this is not our focus for today. When we get there, we'll move there. So you give it a width of 100 pixels, style, table layout, fix. Then you give it a class. You can give it anything. Give a class of table, table border, table condense, table over, table stripe, cell padding of 2 pixels, two cell padding. So in a table, you need to have your head, and this is how you write your head in HTML. You give it the tag of T head, then you put it in a row. This TR means table row. This one is table head. So this table head now we have this serial number, name, email, phone number, username and password, then the action. Then give it the width. This is the body. For you to be able to make use of anything in the body, you will need to make use of T row, then table. Next thing is T body. That's how we get our information. But this time around now, we don't want to type them out. We want to fetch them from the database. Okay. So that's exactly what we have here. And on this page, that's why you are seeing it. It's because of there is no data there. That's why it's showing you this. So if I click on this button, it's going to log me out back to the login page. So I will have to log in again to be able to go back to my own page. The reason why I'm able to log in is because this username and password I created is already in a database. That's why the system will find it. You can check the tutorial on login form with PHP on my channel. You will see how we did that. All right, so what we want to achieve is that we want to display all these users that have been registered. We want to display them inside this table. Okay, so let's get started right away. All right, so our main focus will be here. Okay, so but before then, let's check our database connection. So this is just a simple way of writing it. I just declare a variable and say this is how you connect to my to your database. This is server name. This is the password. This is the this is the username. This is the password. Then this is your database. But for I won't advise you to do it this way so that you won't be confused. Let me open the login. Yeah. So I created a function a, to, so this is how I declared my server name. I explained them, I did a lot of explicit explanation here. So please watch the tutorial on this. Okay, so but here I just want to make everything quicker. I'm not going to be doing some CSS stuff. Everything that we're doing is already started. It's just to write the code that is going to fetch them. Okay, so that means we want to embed our PHP code inside our HTML. So if we come back to this place and refresh, now this is the one to create a new user. Now we want to display the list of the user in the database. All right, so let's come down here now. So this is how we're going to start to get those data. let's open our PHP tag. If you are writing PHP code, like I said, every of your code must be inside the PHP tag. Okay, so and it's good that when you're writing it, you comment it so that you know how to. This is how you comment in PHP. This is how you write comments in HTML. All right, so selecting query execution, it can be anything, something that you alone understand. Okay, so we want to query for the record in a database. So we'll have a variable called SQL, can be anything. Then we'll use uh, some reserved words in PHP, select, and we will search it, select reserved words in PHP, select all. This asterisk means all in PHP. Select all from what is the name of our table. The name of our table is user registration. Okay, so we have select all from user registration. Please mind you, like I said in previous tutorial, PHP is case sensitive. Okay, all right, so the next thing now is we'll say if what now, if results, this one is a variable coming. I want to see where this thing ended. Okay, if result equals to my SQL, I know that something is missing. My SQL query, that's what I want to use. My SQLi query, then we need to pass in our connection. Where is the connection? We need to pass this connection here. This is where we declared it, okay? Where are we? Okay. If my SQL con, let's remove this one. Let's remove this one also. SQL. That means uh if this query, if this line of code is true, what should happen? Okay, so let's open our paragraph. I say paragraph, our curly braces. Now, I'm going to, because we are working with the table, so I don't want to be writing HTML code inside PHP. So we are going to close this. But mind you, ensure that your curly braces are closing. Okay, sure that your curly braces they are closing. Now we've closed it. Another thing you should do is just copy this one and comment it to know that okay, this is where this one is ending. Because if one curly bracket is not closed, it's going to populate an error. I will tell you that unexpected end of fact. All right, so let's bring it down. Okay, now still inside here, you will see the reason why I did this thing this way. I will have easily write them inside, but let's do it this way. So once it goes to query this one, then you should, next thing is to if my SQLi num rows, which is what the result. That means if this query that we are doing is there, now you open it. Okay. I think this one too we have to we'll bring it out too. Anyway, let's keep writing. So whichever thing that we need to do, we'll, we'll sort them out. one after the other. We will sort all of them out one after the other. That means if this record is there, you should do this thing. But if it is not there, let's just say else. Let's do the else part now. Else, you should echo no record, no records matching your query. Since you are querying the database, query means you want to go and fetch information from the database. No query from matching your query. So let's also copy this one and comment it out here. Okay. Now the next thing is, okay, we've done the S part now. Now, if the information is there, what should happen? So we need to say greater than 0, because if it is greater than 0, it means it is there. All right, so we'll set a variable I, because we are going to loop it, and that means iterate it. We'll set it to I is equal to 0, then we use while we declare a variable called row is equals to, then we use the function mysqli underscore fetch, not fetch, yeah, fetch array. Let's get rid of all these ones. We need to close this one. We should fetch what? The result. Now, what is it fetching? Is coming to this table to go and fetch all this record. Then it's going to iterate them, loop them. So you can read more or loop. So it means that it's going to come to this database, fetch all this information and display it. It will, after it has done for one, it will go back, pick the second one, go back, pick the second one, go back, pick the second one. So that's how it's going to do the iteration. So this variable now that we are declaring for it, is to pass each of them inside. Okay. So let's, as we are doing them, let's just make sure that we are closing them. Okay. All right. So since we declare it to fetch them, we will say id is equals to this row. Now let me, before we even start doing this, now let's say var dump row. You see what's going to show on the web page. Unexpected, you can see unexpected in line 127. So where is it? Okay, this is where this one is empty, and this one is ending here. So what happened? There is fire on the mountain. Now these are kind of issues that you face with all this stuff. Okay. I'm coming, just a minute. And so why is it not saying unexpected end of file? The tail is not close delay. Okay. Well, better still, let's remove this one. And imagine. just because of the what is it called? Okay, so let me just let's where are we? Okay, let's bad dump results without to show all these things. I don't know why it's not showing them. Anyway, let's continue. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to assign, because this row is returning an array. So we say is equals to, these are the array that is returning. Row is going to return the result using these columns. So since this thing they are much, they are in array. So row, we are going to, since we've passed the variable that is called uh, rows. So the first one will be ID. Let's just make a duplicate of the rest of them. The next one will be name. Giving it the same variable name so that it can be easy. Then this one is phone. This one is username. Then this one is password. Now, these are the ones that I gave it the name. This one, you can call it anything, but this one should fetch the correct one, because if it doesn't fetch it, you won't be able to see the results. Okay. Now, all this thing will be much easier if we start using framework instead of having to write all this. But it's important that you know how it works on with the basic, that is will enable you to be able to write the uh, necessary code. Okay. So now I treated them. Now is to display them. So I'm going to open a PHP tag here. Then I will close this one, because here now I want to put this while now is iterating. So I want to put the body of the table here, the information here. So I will say tr, which is table row. It doesn't need any class. So we'll give it a cd, then we'll echo this high here because we want it to be numbered. So we say PHP echo plus plus, as you are iterating it, you should be increasing this thing. Okay, so in this place now we'll give it a width of 20. We don't need the class. So we need to put an input tag there. We'll give it the type of hidden, because we are going to pass this ID inside of it. Okay, so let's just give it ID, call it ID. Then it must have a badge. That means it will not be seen. But once you are submitting, or if you want to edit anything, it will enable you to see it. So we'll say echo rows. It should echo this one. It should echo the rows ID. Okay, so we've done for the first table row, which is for this serial number. So for the names now, since we've already declared their variable, so let's just say It's not, we use T body now. I will say PHP echo, what echo name. Echo is to use to display your information. So this one is 100. The width, how big do you want it? So we duplicate all these ones. Then we say next one is what? Email. Next one is phone. Next one is username. And the next one is what? Password. All right. So they need to be the exact thing as this one. So email is 150, phone number is 100, username and password 800. I said 800, 80. This one is 80. Email is 150 because that's a longer text. Then we'll create another one. I'll give it a width of 200. That's the action. What do we want to happen there? We'll say anchor tag. We should go to updates underscore user.php. Then we need to pass in the ID and we'll echo it. We say PHP echo what? Echo this ID that was declared up here. Okay. So inside of it, we are going to pass a button with not input with the font also icon class of FAFA edit. Then we say edit user. That means if you want to edit this user. So for you to edit it, it will go to this place, this passing the ID. So we need to give it this class of btn. Sorry, we need to give it a class of button. Say btn primary. So what we do is duplicate this one and we'll change this one to, let's just go to the home page. Home page still passing the same ID. Just change this one to say this time we are deleting the user. Okay. Then which other thing do we need to do? Okay. Lastly, under here, we'll now say my, because it's a basic one. By the time we start writing using framework, but this one won't be needed. MySQL free results, then passing our variable results to be able to show it. So you save. So let's come back and see all the story that we've been writing. If we refresh, it will see we have unexpected one on line 132. Why? Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be I. One thing about PHP is that as little as the error may be, if you don't trace it properly, it will make you look as if we did not even do anything on it. Okay? Why is this thing not showing the result? Got to show the result. Maybe we are missing. I'm missing something. What can that be? Select all. Okay. From select all from, we need to add that reserve keywords there too. So we've displayed what's it called now? We've displayed the information of all the users from the database. Why is this one showing funny? Okay, we're supposed to give the button itself the class, not the anchor tag. Okay, I'm coming. So let's remove this class here and put it to this button, and then bring it here. Okay, so we'll remove this one too from here. We'll paste it inside this one. So let's refresh and go back. Okay, this one should not be beaten, it should be in danger. Is red. All right, so this is, we've displayed the users, all the users from this database. So this one is just for you uh, to display the record. So let's close all these things now. And this is where this iteration stop. Wow. Now, where did this one stop? That, okay, if you query this one, it's showing that this is the else part. Okay, so what if you query this one and it's not seen? So this is where this one is ending. So you can just uh, let's get rid of this one and put an else, because you need to put it there so that in case that if you query for a particular data and it's not saying it. Okay, I'm saying what is wrong now. Okay, so if you went to the database and query and if you couldn't find it, you just tell the system, tell your application what to do. Echo an error. This thing you can't find it. Error. Could not able could not be able to execute a query SQL. Then you concatenate it and say my SQLi error, and we put in the con. Get rid of this one. Okay, so we save. So if you ask this, okay, select this SQL. If you can't find it, it will populate this error. Okay, or okay, you found it. Okay, if the number of row, if it is not, no record matching your query, but if it could find it, iterate it. So when you finish iterating, you stop it here. So everything that we did is inside this iteration. So that is what we are able to do to achieve this thing. Now let's quickly work on this delete. Then probably in the next tutorial, we're going to work on uh, creating how to add a new user and also how to edit that user. So we'll work on this one and this one in our next tutorial. But let's quickly sort this delete out. Now for the delete, he said you should go to home page, and they literally kept it on this particular page so that we don't have to look for it in another place anymore. All right, so you should go to the home page where this ID was declared here, and it has already passed the hidden distance. This hidden is very important. Okay, so how do we now use it? Remember, while we were creating our registration form, we were using post. But this time around now, we want to go and get the data from the database. So we will not use post, we will use get. So we'll say if is set get what? ID, because that is what you passed. It is what you passed that you should make use of. You can't make use of what you did not use. Get this ID that you put here. If you put user ID, it is user ID you should use. If you put name ID, it is name ID you should make use of here. Okay, so if is set, this is how you write get. Okay, if it is set, and make sure the brackets are closed. If it is set, you open your curly braces. Let's close this one. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is that we'll now get our variable. We say ID. This one is a variable that we're now assigning now to be equals to this. That means that this ID here is equals to this role ID because it has iterated it and this one has been assigned to it. This is the value that was assigned to it. That's why we hit it. Okay. So that's why we're able to pass it as inside this variable. So the next thing now is to run an SQL. I would say SQL is what delete from the name of the table is user registration, where ID is equals to this ID that we declared here. Mind you, this ID is coming from the database. It is what you have in the column that should be passed. So you need to understand this variable, this very well. If you are saying name ID, this name ID is not what's installed in the database. Maybe you thought that maybe, okay, I put name ID here. This name ID is passed so that when you use this get method, it will go and look for where this name ID is. But this time around, we are making use of ID. So we now said get the ID, then we'll pass in this ID to this variable here. So we're now telling the system, the application, that go and delete this user where the ID. Now, if I now use name ID here, it should be name ID that should be here. So it is what is in your database that should be in this place. So that is very important. So we just say delete username. I mean delete from user registration where ID is equals to this ID. Then we'll now tell you that if mysqli query our connection, which is con, then the SQL query. That means if it is true, what should happen? You should write, we want to pass a message, so we can just say section error is equals to user record deleted successfully. This one will show if this thing is true, or if there is a problem with the database, it should also display another error. It's just for you to know that okay, something is wrong, so you need to check what you have written. So we'll just say sorry, you cannot delete this user. Okay, so how do we now pass the information? So we'll come here. Okay, so where is let's just get this. I use it in the register, so but I will still explain. Now we're now saying that if this section error, if it is not empty, it should display a div with the alert class. Remember the bootstrap alert class? Then we'll now say it should echo the message. So if we save it now, I will show you the function of this get. Now, if we come to our interface, let's refresh. Okay, if you mouse over this thing and check down on your this link display on the top left bottom here, you will see that it's saying localhost slash savannah cafe slash the root folder, the file name home.php question mark id is equals to 1. This one, if it is not changing, that means your line of code is not correct. This one is 2, this one is 3, this one is 5, this one is 9. If I go to the database, you can see that everything is correct. So let's delete this now. I click on this delete user. So it has come here, it has gotten that ID 9 and it deleted it where that ID is equals to the one that was coming. That was why we were able to see this information that user record has been deleted. So that is for the read. The read is to view the information which we can see here when we logged in, while the delete is the one that we just performed just now. So in the next tutorial, uh, we're going to do how we can add a new one. Then we will do how we can edit the new one also too. So please like my video, and also please make your comment on the video to know for questions or any other thing or your observation. And if you have any question that you want to ask, my email is always in the description of the video, so you can send me a mail or you can write down your question in the comment box. So that's how you can contact me. And please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. I'll see us in the next tutorial. Bye for now.